Now this is the Moza R5 wheelbase and wheel system that I've had for over 6 months now, and I'm going to talk about why this might be the best direct drive and beginner simulator setup that you might want to purchase if you're getting into sim racing. Today's video, we're going to be going over all the specs, all the considerations, and the compatibility of games with this specific system. So let's get right into it. Now, just a disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video. This system was purchased by myself with my own money. However, if you are interested in purchasing this Moza device or any other Moza product, I do have a referral code in the description box that might save you some money. So the Moza R5 system comes bundled with the Moza R5 base itself, which comes at 5.5 Newton meters of torque. Comes with an ES wheel system that can be modded with a Formula 1 mod, and it comes with a set of SRP pedals. So you do get a gas pedal and a brake pedal, and you do have the option of adding a clutch if you're into GT racing. Other than that, there's also additional accessories you can buy, such as shifters. But one of the most sought after accessory with this wheelbase system is the SRP load cell system. So as it comes with the base, both the gas and brake pedals don't have a lot of resistance with them. With the SRP load cells, you can add that resistance to the brake pedal to mimic more of a real world braking system. But other than that, standalone, this does come with a set of desk clamps. But in my opinion and my personal use, I do recommend using a cockpit because of the 5.5 Newton meters. You are going to get a lot of force feedback and you will get a lot of rumbling. Now, this cockpit that I'm using here was purchased off Amazon. I'll also put a link in the description. This is a semi cockpit, so the wheel is separated from the chair. However, if you set your chair on a carpet, you won't have to worry about you sliding around. But it is a nice way of making sure everything stays secure in place. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is a direct drive system. So a direct drive means that there are not a lot of moving parts. It's actually electromagnetics that mimics the feedback and the force feedback from any game that you're playing. It's different from belt-driven and gear-driven systems where sometimes it can feel a little clunky, and those are typically on the cheaper side. Now, for the price point, this is one of the cheaper direct drive systems, and it's very compatible. And one of the pros that this base system has is that every wheel that Moza offers is compatible even to the lowest grade. So even with their 3 Newton meter wheelbase system, you can go as far as using a $1,200 wheel if you want to use it, but their ecosystem is quite vast. And one of the great things about this wheel system specifically is the quick release. All Moza wheels have this quick release feature where it just pops right off, or you can pop it right back on and it clicks right into place. It's not finicky like some of the Fanatec and the Thrustmaster systems. Everything stays secure in place and it just feels really rigid and really secure. Now, this is the ES wheel that comes with this bundle, and I gotta say it is a very solid wheel, especially for this price point. Now, all of these buttons that you see on here can be remapped either through Moza's Pit House software or in each individual game that you play, but it comes with a standard D-pad as well as the A, B, X, Y buttons that makes navigating menus within games quite easy, and also has other dedicated video buttons for boxing as well as pitting. So this works great for both GT racing as well as Formula 1 racing. Now, it does have gear shifters on the back, which do feel pretty responsive, and they go back right to their original setting as soon as you click them, and they're not as loud as you might hear them in the video. And of course, it does have that quick release system that I talked about earlier, which is compatible with every single wheelbase system. Now, if you're into Formula 1 racing, the only downside to this is obviously that this is a circular column, which actually can be replaced with a Formula 1 mod. But as you'll notice, there's no dedicated clutch on here. So you will have to either upgrade to the KS wheel or the GT Formula 1 wheels that are a little more expensive for the entry-level price point. Other than that, it does have a gear shifter indicator here that starts off blue and goes to red. But some people have complained about this. Some people prefer a dotted experience. This is more of a fluid liquid line, which can also be adjusted within the Pit House software. Other than that, for the price point itself, this is a very solid wheel. Now, one of the questions that get raised a lot is 5.5 Newton meters enough torque for this wheelbase system? And I gotta say, for beginners, it is a lot. And it is gonna be quite a big of a jump if you're coming from a controller or from one of the cheaper belt or gear driven systems. At 5.5 Newton meters, you do really feel the curb as well as a lot of the track surface that you're driving on. And you can pretty well differentiate what kind of tires you're using and how you drive based on the game that you're driving in, all through just 5.5 Newton meters. Now, if 5.5 seems a bit high, like I said in Moza, you can adjust that and bring it down all the way to 1%. So you can bring it down to 0.5 newton meters and work your way up. I started at around 3 just to get a hang of it, and eventually worked my way up to 5. Now, I will say that if you are sim racing as often as I am, like at least 10 hours a week, you are going to get used to the system pretty quickly, and you are going to start wanting a higher system. And a lot of people have said that the 9 to 12 newton meters is the perfect standpoint for that system. But for a beginner, and in this price point, 5.5 newton meters is certainly enough. Now, in terms of game library and compatibility, the Moza R5 system is pretty much compatible with all PC games that support a wheel-based system. So a lot of your simulation games such as Assetto Corsa, iRacing, F1, EA F1, Automobilista, all those games are natively supported with Moza. So it is great that you can sort of jump in and through Moza's Pit House have everything already pre-programmed and get ready to jump straight into racing. Now, one thing and one question that I get asked quite a lot is this system compatible with consoles? And the question is no. This is a PC only wheel-based system. If you do want a system that is compatible with an Xbox, the only thing that Moza offers is a dedicated wheel that you can swap out technically onto the Moza Wheelbase, but you need that specific wheel. And that wheel, I believe, costs at least $175 on its own. But this bundle alone, if you're getting it for your PS5 or Xbox, it simply will not work. Now, of course, I do have to talk about the gaming experience, and the gaming experience has been extremely positive. Even from the more of the arcade type games like EA's F1, all the way to simulation specific like iRacing and Assetto Corsa, the wheelbase system is extremely rewarding. If you're jumping in from a controller and going to a pedal and wheel system, it is a night and day difference. Now, I will say at the very beginning, if you're new to this, it's going to be very frustrating, especially if you disable alt assist. However, once you get used to it, it is very rewarding, and you'll understand how much better and quicker you will be around the track when you have all the input that you need over a standard controller system. Now, I can spend hours and hours playing and I'll have no issues. And that is actually something that a lot of people have questions about, is how does this fare over a long period of gaming? And although it does heat up, the aluminum casing does make sure that the heat is dissipated quite well. So at no point with excessive gaming of 4 or 5 hour stints has this thing ever overheated on me. So in terms of longevity and durability, the Moza wheelbase system is pretty durable, and you don't have to worry about it ever shutting down on you mid-game. Now, I mentioned this earlier in the video, but the Moza ecosystem is quite vast, meaning they offer a number of wheelbases, a number of different pedals, and a number of different wheels, all of which can be intertwined and intercombined. So you can get the highest end wheel and still use it with the R5 and not have to worry about upgrading your wheelbase if that's something you would like to do, which I don't recommend, but it is a possibility. And like I said, even if you want to modify the existing pedals that come with the R5 system, you can get the load cells that I believe are only $30, and it does make a vast difference when it comes to braking. But other than that, Moza does offer a wide variety of products, which is great, especially for a new competitor in the pretty competitive simulator setting. Now, one of the biggest drawbacks of the Moza R5, and it's raised a lot of times, is the price. Now, for 440 USD, this is not the cheapest entry-level system you can get into. There are actually cheaper direct drive systems like the Camus C5, which is 250 USD and is an all-in-one system where the wheelbase and the wheel are integrated all together. Now, the issue with that system is that you still have to purchase your own set of pedals, and you are limited to compatibility and modifications in the long run. Now, you can go with a non-direct drive system like the Logitech G923 for less than half the price. But once again, that is a belt and gear driven system, which is nothing wrong with it, but you will not get the same force feedback and the same precision as a direct drive system. So if pricing is an issue, there are of course a lot of other alternatives that you should obviously consider before looking into the Moza R5. Now, I personally love the Moza R5. I think this is one of the best purchases I've made, and it's really gotten me down the rabbit hole of sim racing. And I have a feeling I'm probably going to be pouring thousands of dollars into this hobby over the course of my life, but I feel like that's all worth it, especially if you love racing and you love video games. Now, if you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button. And if you did purchase or plan on purchasing the Moza R5, let me know in the chat below and let me know what your experiences have been. And if you want to see more content around gaming and specifically sim racing, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.